What's up, YouTube? It's your boy. How do they do it? How do people churn out such an insincere load of old nonsense as standard to the world? You imagine if we all did greet each other like that, it would be fucking hilarious, wouldn't it? Anyway, starting week 4, living under this roof. Don't know why everybody has to look round as if you don't exactly know what I'm talking about, but it's been, well, it struck me, it's been 20 years since I've lived in a place where I've not been forced to share with other people due to financial constraints. Now I take on board that we're very lucky here in England, especially, that homelessness is a huge problem, but it's relatively small in the grand scheme of things. You know, most people have got a roof over their head. You know, the bottom line is that the basic thing should be that everybody has a roof over their head, but I'd go one bit further and say everybody should have at least one of those, you know, those American setups you used to see in sitcoms during the 70s, where you'd have a room with a toilet, bathroom off it, maybe with a bedroom, you know, bed and basic kitchen area. You know, there are flats like that in the UK. That should be the basic that people are offered as standard, as a human right. No one should be forced to share with people that they don't even know. HMO rules, houses and multiple occupancy rules, are so ridiculous these days that they won't even let you have a individual lock in your house. And in fact, the house that I just left, the guy who moved in last October found Zen-like peace doing yoga in the garden, and then caused complete chaos to the point where people actually moved out and left us to pay the bills. He insisted that people had been in his room and nicked his headphones. You know, when you just know people are in the house a year down the line, someone moves in and sort of causes trouble and finds issues that no one else seems to have been bothered by. You can smell a rat. And I know exactly what had happened. He'd put his headphones somewhere, he'd lost them. No one had been in that room and nicked them. Not one person there was like that. Not me, not the 2 women present at the time, no one. Just not a problem. We respected each other's space, if nothing else, you know. And it's you shouldn't be having to deal with the just the shit attitudes of other people. You really shouldn't have to deal with it. It's as simple as that. But we do, you know, and I'm grateful for having had that opportunity to get back to this area and have a roof over my head. But basic human rights should be a room, at least, with your own bathroom and kitchen attached to it. I'm not suggesting everybody has a palace, just the one room setup you see in American sitcoms, you know. In fact, there was an episode of Frasier that I watched again recently where Niles, you know, pair of effete snobs that Frasier and Niles are. Niles had to move into a place, and he was horrified what he saw. It was a bed that folded out of the wall. There was a kitchen, and it was a massive room with a kitchen and a little bathroom off it. And he was saying, you know, there's no hurry for me to move here. I'll find somewhere that suits me. And Frasier says, no, you've got to get used to the fact this is your life now. This is your home. And I was just thinking, it's beautiful. You know, the implication was it was the lowest of the low. And there was another implication from the landlord that the person who left obviously died in the room. Those of us who've ever been that desperate for good housing, you don't care about such things. I saw that room and just thought, I'd be chuffed to live there, you know. It's funny the standards that people have. I know I've met people who live in similar accommodation to this who've said, you know, well, this is a problem and that's a problem, and I can't cope with this about being in a place where I'm not affected by anyone else, except in ways in which we all are. Traffic, light pollution, all kinds of things, you know, other people banging doors, you know, we all have to put up with such crap. But, you know, it just makes you realise your standards, when they've been as low as mine plummeted, anything anything is progress. And, you know, this place was, when I walked in here and first saw it, I just thought, I expected a couple of rungs up the ladder, my own place, but I didn't expect a good 50 rungs up the ladder, you know. But still, people in blocks like this find issue with it. And, you know, I respect that. We've only got our own standards and our own life to work from, and it wises you up a bit. You just think, you know, thinking, oh, well, what's your problem? You know, anybody who was out on the street during this last completely sub-zero winter we've just been through would have looked at me and my whinging and thought, good God, you've got a roof over your head and a duvet over you at night and a blow heater. What is your problem? You know, it's all everything's relative, isn't it? But yeah, it's been 20 years since I've had the luxury of my own front door, and that place was beautiful. I had it was a nice house with a conservatory. Me and my girlfriend at the time were very lucky to get it. A relative of hers had not been in there long. They passed away, and we got it for £100 a month, which back in '96, even then, was just absurdly cheap. And the garden was the high point of that place. There was, you know, a very suburban area, but moved down to the bottom of the garden. There was a trellis and trees. And you could be anywhere you wanted to be if you've got the imagination that would take you there. That end of that garden, all you could see was treetops. The back of our garage was there, and it was beautiful old style British brick, red brick. And we used to sit down there. We used to have barbecues down there and parties and stuff. And it was a very small area, no bigger than this room, but it was just a place where you took your imagination, you could be anywhere. And that was my little slice of being in the centre of the countryside. We were far enough back from the road for it to feel secluded. Girlfriend was able to sunbathe down there in the nude, and it was beautiful. It was lovely, it really was. And that was 20 years ago that I screwed that relationship up and lost that house. And I'm beginning to have similar vibes regarding this place. You know, there's no garden or anything like that, but I'm happy. I'm really happy with this turn of events. It's as I say, when I knew I was going to get a place of my own, I was warned. It's funny, the council, when they phoned me up about this place, said there's a place in this suburb of Oxford. It's not the best place. We're warning you that. You know, there are people in the area that they said there's a problem with drug dealers. And it is the most secluded, quiet, no road noise, nothing. It's you know, I'm looking out the French windows there, just see the trees moving in the breeze, and there's a pigeon just landed on a roof, you know, and that's about as crazy as it gets around here. You know, it's all relative, isn't it? And I'm just so pleased, especially with the ability it's got to, you know, my daughter now at the age of 10, I feel the last 18 months especially put a real crimp on my relationship with her with regards to not allowing her to just be a kid. You know, when I first moved into the house of multiple occupancy I've just left, somebody complained about her staying. It was completely against all the rules. Most of my housemates just saw a father and daughter and respected it and were nice about it, but one complete nutter motherfucker just complained about it to the agency, and we got a letter saying this has got to stop, that's got to stop, and the people who stay every weekend are not meant to, that has to stop. You know, the good housemates I had clubbed together and said that you really don't have to worry about that, we're on your side, they're not going to kick you out. But it's not how the human mind works, and I spent the last 18 months shushing her for daring to be 7, 8 and 9 years old, which she was respectively, whilst living in that house, you know. There are some real fuckers out there who will try and put landmines in otherwise completely peaceful and safe areas. They will put landmines when there's no war except the one that's going on in their head. The hatred that leads some people to try and scupper the joy and happiness of other people. You know, I've come across people in the last 2 years who, for no reason at all, have just tried to completely take me down and destroy me, to the point where I got the police involved. I didn't pursue it, but the police needed to know, because if this happened again, I was going to come down on them like a sumo wrestler with regards to the law. You know, people will attempt to bring people down who just don't deserve it. I don't know what motivates people to take it that far. I understand passive aggression. I lived with somebody 15, 20 years ago, and we had a silent war of attrition over the things like the windows. He'd shut them, I'd open them. You know, it was just, I understand being really pissed off with people that seem to get something in life, or represent something that you just don't like. But to take it to levels beyond just sort of things that don't even affect you in your life and in your direct surroundings, and still try and bring them down. There are some really sick people out there. But once bitten, twice shy, I guess. I would never be so open as to welcome in the wrong people. I'd just be you don't know you're taking in the wrong people in your world. But I'd be very cautious now, and I'd recommend anybody who feels like, that crushing sensation of, my God, I'm freaked out by what people are capable of. You know that feeling. We've all been there. Go public straight away and go loud. Run like the fucking wind from those kind of people and go loud. Do not allow them to drag you into some situation where you think that you've got to remain quiet. Because in your silence, you will just find your own personal hell. Go loud, and go loud instantly. God bless. Nothing but love.